Being the moment. There was a lot going on today. And obviously, with Bedlam being as important as it is, um, more important was to remember the 10 game and those families being here and our former players and understanding the gravity of that moment. So proud of our kids, especially proud of the kids from the state for the way they raised their heads up and played in this game. Um, and just glad, obviously, you come in this game on a 4-game losing streak, and it seems like a game that can't mean more somehow carries even more weight. And so just thankful that we're able to play in a way that first would honor the legacy of the people we lost and make their families proud, but certainly to win the game against our in-state rival.
Coach Boynton, when Caleb was in here, he talked about, of course, the struggles that he'd gone through and kind of how he learned to just be him and have fun out there. How did you see him do that today?
He seemed to play with more joy today, and there's a major psychological component to sports, and I don't know if it's not more so for college sports. Maybe not. Maybe the money kind of masks some of the things at the professional level. But I live in this space, so I know the psychological challenges that these kids go through because they all want to do well, and when they don't, sometimes they don't know how to respond to the noise that comes from that. And so I was proud of him for being able to put those challenges behind him, and even more proud for how his teammates responded to him playing well. They were the ones in timeout saying, let's keep feeding him, let's keep playing through him, and that was just a great sign for our team to come together and support him that way.
He was laughing in here saying he's the mature one between him and Keelan, but he was saying that he turned to Keelan to kind of find out, like, how to just have fun and not worry about as much what others are saying. How do you think Keelan's helped him through this?
There's a lot in there. There's a lot in that question. I'll say this.
How's Keelan helped him?
They're great kids. They really are. Sometimes they don't know how to respond to the pressure that comes from being in the spotlight all the time and having to perform. Today they certainly did. I'm thankful for that. But I'm also thankful that they're here doing it together. I went and saw those kids for the first time. I think they were 15 years old. And to see them come this far and be here, having the type of impact, and really changing their lives, in all honesty, is really what makes me get up and go to work when things are hard.
Did you envision these kind of days with these two together doing this?
Yeah. I mean, everybody we recruit, we expect to contribute and help us have success. What that looks like from individual to individual, the time frame that happens in could vary greatly. But for these kids, I thought, by the time they're juniors, they'd be guys we could count on and count on consistently. I hadn't got there yet, but I got all the faith in the world that, with our staff and their character, that we'll keep making progress.
Caleb looked a little frustrated at times in the first half with some of his shots, and I think you tried to say something to him on the sideline. What's kind of the message there when he's kind of been in that funk and then he breaks out? Is there a message there?
The message is always the same. Do you believe you belong here in this moment, right now? And if you do, then you can't worry about the things that don't go well. The game happens too fast. I say it all the time. I love football. I love baseball. But there are breaks constantly in those sports to reset, to regroup after every play in football. I mean, how long is the longest play in a football game? 10 seconds if a guy runs all the way down the field? Other than that, they stop and they regroup. They talk about it. In basketball, you don't have time for that. You got to get to the next thing, whether it's offense or defense, whether it's miss a free throw. And so when you carry the weight of not believing, it's hard to then make those adjustments. And so that's just the conversation. If you believe you belong out there, while you're out there, you got to go play the game. And you got to lose yourself in that moment with your teammates.
You've spoken about this team not making those winning plays, those tough plays at the end. And today you guys go up 10 with something like 5 minutes to go, and you do hold on. What was different today?
Maybe a little bit more determination. I think the kids have talked about it the last couple of days. Winning's hard. But losing absolutely sucks. And so you do whatever it takes to not have that feeling that you've had here recently. And I thought today, between Musa and Tyreek and Caleb, and even Rondell, who didn't play great until he made a big three for us and then made some free throws. And kind of to that point, what Bryce Williams did for us today. I mean, he's not all the way back. I mean, he just knew that his teammates needed him. And I don't know what the effect of that is tomorrow, but I know today he played with great grit, determination, and a will that, they're going to do everything it took to win.
Did you get more from him than maybe you thought today, just based on where he's at?
Yeah, again, I try not to predetermine that stuff. The game kind of happens. I would imagine in a couple of hours, if I call him, and I won't because I don't want to hear it, I'll check on him in the morning. He won't feel very good, but we got a great trainer. He'll come in and try to figure out a way to get him as close to what he was today again on Tuesday when we hit the road.
You mentioned all your bigs. How much did you emphasize going down low today and running the game through them?
It was the major emphasis of the game. We can't have games like we had the other day. And between our four primary interior players, that's Caleb, Musa, Tyreek, and M.A., we got 2 total points. I mean, I don't know how many threes we have to make at that point. And we obviously have shown we're not a great three-point shooting team. They can't get basically nothing out of that position from a production standpoint. And in their defense, or to their credit, they didn't pout about that. They didn't take it as, oh, coach doesn't like me. No, they took it as a challenge, and they were all very, very productive today, and obviously gave us a chance to kind of offset some of the three-point shooting that they were doing early.
What did you think?
Too?
Yeah, he was sensational. His energy was infectious today. He's getting more comfortable with where he's going to get the ball and have opportunities. He still gets rushed a little bit. You see that on his late finish. Like I tell him, I asked Musa one day, when's the last time somebody blocked your shot? And obviously he doesn't have a great answer because it doesn't happen very often. So when you're 7 foot tall, like when you catch the ball a foot from the basket, usually you can take as much time as you want. Take the shot you want and not worry about where the defense is. So he's a young kid. He's 19 years old. He should be a freshman in college. And that's part of the learning curve for a kid like that.
What did you think of the crowd energy today?
The crowd was unbelievable. A lot of reasons to show up, but a lot of reasons to stay home today. 11 a.m., team on a 4-game losing streak. No postseason really try to pick us up to get to. 11 a.m. on a Saturday probably isn't the ideal for a bunch of college freshmen, but time and time again, our fans show why this is a special place, and today was no different.
Used Tyreek at the foursome. I don't know how much you've done that this year. What kind of went into that?
Haven't done it. We were just kind of searching for some answers. Well, 2 things. We were searching for some answers to kind of break the momentum. Tyreek's been an energy guy for us a ton, but also to Jacob's question about being able to dominate the game inside. He brought great energy. We didn't lose much because other than Groves, their other bigs aren't necessarily out on the perimeter much. So we thought we gained an advantage by bringing him in, and we're able to get some second chance points. And I thought he really sparked us there in the first half.
Speaking of Groves, you guys switched him sometimes. Sometimes it worked out for you guys. Sometimes it didn't. Kind of what went into the decision to keep switching him?
That's part of coaching. Watch film and try to figure out. We know what he does well, and obviously they put him in a lot of pick and rolls. And if you decide to stay with the ball handler, then you're leaving him in space. And he's a really, really smart player. So he makes 2 threes to start the game, and Harkless makes 2 threes. And Harkless doesn't usually make 2 threes that early, but we know Groves could. And so the adjustment you make is to switch and try to allow them to have to play a little bit more one-on-one. I thought the key to us executing was Musa's length when he did switch, of taking away their vision so they couldn't make easy passes inside. And our guys on the backside were loading up a little bit. So I don't think it hurt us as much as if we would have stayed with allowing him to catch and shoot threes and then hit those cutters on the backside.
Mike, with not the opportunity to play in the postseason, is this Bedlam elevated a little bit more, knowing the fact that you're not going to get to play past the regular season?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's already the biggest game in my mind on the schedule every year. So I don't know where else it could go. It's kind of like I tell our guys, when we play good defense, we don't have to. We sometimes get overzealous. We foul sometimes at half court. Like you can't play more good defense. Like you already have the guy. Like there's no need to foul. So for me, the game is the most important game on our schedule every year. We obviously get to play them again, and that'll be the case at that time as well. but I don't know if it could have any more relevance to me than it already does.
Mike, you pleased with the way the guys have hung in there? Season hadn't gone the way you wanted. You mentioned 4-game losing streak. Are they as invested as you could hope they would be, considering the circumstances?
They are, but they're also 19 and 20 and 21. Bryce Williams, our oldest guy, I think he's 23. They get distracted sometimes, and they lose focus on the objective. And the objective is still for us to be, over the course of the season, become the best team we're capable of. Their attitudes have been pretty good. I said this last week, and I meant it. I thought we showed signs of playing selfishly, kind of with selfish motives, and that's never going to be accepted here. But in terms of their morale, their ability to focus on doing the things that our coaches are asking them to do, it's been about where I would hope that we've been considering the circumstances.
Nearly doubled their turnovers in the second half, and you had 1 block in the first half, 7 in the second half. Was there something you guys talked about in the locker room defensively that changed?
It was something we talked about coming into the game. You know, over the last probably 3 weeks, we've gotten better offensively. The numbers would tell you that. Obviously, we've gotten more production out of Bryce Thompson and different guys. But our defense has kind of taken a step back. And if we can put our first half of the year's defense with some of our late offense, then we'll have a chance to run off a couple of these here. And the margin is small. I mean, you're a rebound or a possession arrow or maybe not a 10-second call away from winning a game the other day. You're probably 2 stops while Florida's making their run from down 16, from really making it a little bit feel like dejected. We could have easily come into this game on a 6-game winning streak. I mean, if you look at the past 4 games, and that was what I told our team. But we can't, no matter what we're doing offensively, we got to continue to defend at a high level because it's the thing that gives us a chance on most nights.
Mike, you had 4 guys in double figures. None of the 4 were your 4 leading scorers on the season. Is that a sign that you actually have a lot of depth that you can build upon, and in terms of just widespread scoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about when we've played our best basketball, it's what our box score looks like. And it really could be anybody who gets in. That's kind of who we are. The challenge we have sometimes is guys aren't satisfied. So I talk about the focus. Because we don't have the postseason, playing like this is about winning. It's about doing whatever it takes and feed the hot hand. Caleb had me just keep figuring it out. But when you get distracted and you have people in your ear saying, well, you have to put up numbers for the scouts or whatever, or for being all league or making All-American, then we have a totally different looking box score. We don't have as many assists. We have much more turnovers. Our shooting percentages are down. And again, it's not that they don't want to do the right thing. It's just that they think the priorities kind of get mangled up. And so to your question, yes, it's a sign of our depth, but it's the way we've been designed from the beginning of the season. Like, we're going to have a bunch of 8 to 12, 13-point scorers, and every now and then you'll have a guy maybe get 20 because they're capable, but it's not because we're running our offense through one person every single night.